You're super comfortable?
Yeah, like I can sit back. And the mic's still here. Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 34 of
How Married Are You?
Hello, y'all. It is...
It's Chocolate Baby Story Time.
All right, babe. Chocolate Baby Story Time.
Don't their little voices just make you smile? I know you guys are smiling out there. Okay, my Chocolate Baby Story Time is related to a moment in time.
All right.
The other day, Glen took like 45 minutes or so to play Nerf guns with the kids. And when it was over and Glen was on his way back to the garage to work, Theo goes, "Thanks for playing with us, Dad." And even right now, I could get teary-eyed because I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, my nose is starting to do the burning sensation. But like, it was just so sweet and so thoughtful that he would even think to say thank you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just so, my heart just warmed all the way up.
Yeah, I remember that. And I felt like he understood that it was taking something.
Mm-hmm.
Not away from me, but it did take energy and time, and that is a privilege. And it wasn't something that he took for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt very appreciated there.
Yeah.
That was love.
It was so much love.
I didn't even know you heard that.
I did.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sorry, did I take yours?
No, yesterday I put out a video, and
We'll link it right here.
It's over here. It'll be right there.
Okay, there.
So you still have to sit up a little bit.
Why?
Because the focus is set to you.
Oh, well, can you come back to my...
Then I'd have to change everything.
Do you guys see all this stuff?
Yeah, so yesterday I asked the kids who was their favorite parent, and both of them unanimously said Mom. Now, they tried to say both of us because they didn't want to hurt our feelings, but the truth is it was really Mom. And so what I just want to say, you're doing a good job.
Thanks,
because
babe.
they both said that they were your favorite, and they both think that they are both your favorite. Like, you love them more out of all the kids. Like, one of them, like Theo thinks he's the favorite. Uriah thinks he's the favorite. And so that means you're distributing your love equally. And even when you are frustrated, you're not showing it as much, you know?
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Yeah, but they feel the love more than they feel some of the distaste that we have. So, yeah, like, I just wanted to encourage you there.
Thanks. It's not encourage Yvette time. It's Chocolate Baby Story Time.
Okay, but yeah, I just wanted you to know that the love is real for you and them chocolate babies. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's hop into words of affirmation. Baby, you want to go ahead and introduce the words of affirmation?
So, words of affirmation is an opportunity for you all to tell us what it is that keeps you coming back week after week to listen to these episodes. We love getting your voicemails on the Anchor app or your DM voice memos on Instagram. But we also want to invite you guys to leave us some love in the app that you listen to this podcast on, whether it's Apple or Google Play or Stitcher or whatever other app there is out there. We would appreciate it if you would even just get on the keyboard and type away, or on the phone, type away and just let everyone else know why they should be listening to How Married Are You? And while you're there, if you just want to leave a 5-star rating, we would appreciate that as well.
Amen. All right, let's go ahead and hop into these words of affirmation.
What we're gonna do right here is go back.
Miss Melanin. Hey, what's up, Beleaf? Miss Melanin. I'm just coming through to just send some words of encouragement. My name is Z. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I just want to say I really appreciate y'all and what y'all do on y'all podcast, and especially on Beleaf in Fatherhood. I've been tuning in since it started, and it's been really just encouraging just to become
Free, y'all, and get
it don't stop. To the beat, y'all, and it don't stop. A freak, y'all, and it don't stop. To the beat, y'all, and it don't stop. A freak.
And it's been really just encouraging me just to become a husband and a great father. Beleaf, man, you really encourage me, and keep doing your thing. I love y'all both. Yeah, so can't wait to hear another podcast. So I'm gonna continue to protect my life and keep my network popping. I love y'all. See y'all soon.
Thank you so much, Z, for leaving those words of affirmation. I hope everything's going well out there in New York. Hope the weather's great. The weather is getting so much better over here. We're actually recording this during the daytime, which is rare. Rare. Babe, what do you have to say about our new setup here?
Guys, so I have headphones, and Glen went and got these dandy things that what are they? What is this called?
They are microphone arms. So I can sit back a little bit more, not too much, but I can sit back a little bit more, and she can hear everything.
I can hear everything. I can hear when my voice gets super low or super high. So for those of you guys who've been like, okay, Yvette, speak up, I can hear that now, and I understand the struggle. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the people who have been sending in, or what does Glen say, passing the collection plate on PayPal. We really appreciate you guys. And again, I'm just going to throw it out there. That link is paypal.me/HMAY podcast.
Yeah. And so you guys know that the money is going directly toward the podcast. Even though, times have been tough, I really wanted to stick to bringing up the quality of the podcast because this is something that we really care about. It's something we get to do together. And the more comfortable we are doing it, the more often we can do it and the better we can serve you guys. And so, And so shout out to also Ray Lugo, Where's Lugo, who gives us this LUT. So if you're looking at us on YouTube, you're going to see kind of like a different color profile. And that color profile is a LUT that is built by this guy named Ray Where's Lugo on Instagram. So make sure if you're into the video or anything like that, make sure you follow him. And just so you guys know, we do have a YouTube channel that you guys can subscribe to. We're at like 2,100 subscribers right now, which is really awesome. And we're getting about like 1,500 views per video. You know what I mean? So that means you guys are really engaged there, and you guys get to see our smiling faces and us acting a fool. So make sure you subscribe there. And the name of the channel is How Married Are You? Yep. So let's go ahead and hop into this topic, babe.
All right. So I was recently listening to a podcast, and I'll link that podcast in the description below. But it was the Red Couch. Is that what it's
podcast?
Called? Podcast,
yeah.
The Red Couch podcast, and it was a conversation between Prop and Jeremiah, and there was some things that came. There was a bunch of stuff in that episode that came up, but the main thing that I took away from it was this whole idea of masculinity versus manhood, and how Glen and I, as Theo and Uriah's parents, are influencing their thoughts on it. It just kind of made me start to think about, what am I doing or not doing, or subconsciously doing or consciously doing, that is causing my children to interpret manhood and masculinity a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I thought that would be an interesting conversation for Glen and I to have together. We haven't really talked about it yet, but yeah.
So before we hop into that, my brother is in town. He's currently with the kids right now. Who knows what's going on in there? At some points, you just really don't care who babysits the kids. Just like, somebody please take them. So we don't have a lot of high hopes, but hopefully they're fine in there. My brother's in town. And so before we started this discussion, I wanted to bring his perspective in and ask him, Yvette, asked him what was the difference between manhood and masculinity. All right. And so we're going to jump into his answer right now.
To our listeners, this is Blease Carson, the infamous younger brother of Glen David Henry.
Why am I infamous?
Because we've talked a lot about you on this podcast. Well, we wanted to ask you a question.
What's up?
What is the difference between masculinity and manhood?
think that you can hear me, right? All right. So I think that manhood has more to do with like life experiences, and I guess like doing manly things, whatever that means, like making your own money, providing for your family, having control of your emotions, stuff like that. I think masculinity is like, you know, a natural, you know, just natural traits that I guess individuals with X and Y chromosomes have. You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's really no right or wrong answer. We just wanted a young man's perspective.
Growing up, what did I think a man was? And when you say growing up, because I'm still growing up. So do you mean like when I was...
For the record, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. So
Nah,
growing
like
up,
when I, so like from the perspective of when I was Theo's age, or like, so I mean when I was, I give you two answers then. Like when I was Theo's age, I probably thought like superheroes and stuff like that were men, you know. But I said probably when I got like around 10, 11, I probably like looked up to you. I was like, you're a man, you know. Yeah, my brother.
Not me, guys. Glen. So what did Glen display that represented manhood to you?
He got a lot of girls.
Tell it all, Reese. Tell it all. Continue. I find it interesting how your brother talked about when he was around Theo's age, he viewed masculinity based off the superheroes that he was watching on television. And then as he got a little bit older, he started to view manhood like you were his example of manhood.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then the craziest part of it was I was like, okay, so because I kind of understood superheroes, you know, strong, powerful, they save the day, they're the knight in shining armor. But then when I asked him about you, he said it's because you got a lot of girls. And I'm like, how do you go from strong, powerful, saving the day to, oh, he has a lot of girls, so he must be a man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I don't even know what he's talking about.
You do know what he's talking about, fool.
Have you noticed that I'm shrinking again?
Yeah. So we need to get another chair for Glen. PayPal.me/HMAY podcast.
Way to change the subject, Glenn. Good job. Thanks. Yeah. So I don't know about that. I am surprised that I was his standard. Like that, I was like, yes, that's a man. You know, at 20.
Let's talk about the age difference between the two of you.
Yeah, so we're 9.5 years apart.
Yeah.
And so
it's almost a whole decade.
Yeah. So I probably I was not a good brother. You know what I'm saying? And so he talks about being abandoned, and that I left him, and so we were growing up in different times, and our parents, you know, my mother was a different person, you know what I'm saying? And so there were certain liberties that I tried to, you know, have at that point in my life that I couldn't do if I was staying there, you know what I mean? And so I had to move on and move to California, and yeah, it's definitely a tough point, and probably something we need to reconcile in our own relationship, him and I. But I'm a little embarrassed that I was the standard for him, because I was trash at 19. Trash at 20. And mind you, I had like a girlfriend or a couple girlfriends during that season, not at the same time, but during that season.
Clarifying.
But I never was without a girl. You know what I'm saying? And I you know, I like what I wanted was kind of what I got. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like the girl I wanted to be with is the one that I got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like I couldn't get the girl that I wanted.
So before we start the discussion, I kind of just wanted to look up, you know me, I like to look up words in a dictionary. So I wanted to see how does a dictionary, and this is dictionary.com, mind you, how did dictionary.com define manhood versus masculinity? And so the way that they define manhood is the state or time of being a man or adult male person, male maturity. So how would you interpret that?
I think that's weird because I feel like they give it to like, okay, manhood is a time where you are a man, but then they go maturity. And so maturity is more of a philosophical, you know what I mean? Like it's just because you're grown, that doesn't mean you're mature.
I think what they're saying is, so I think mainly what they're saying is that manhood is a period of time. So I don't know if that's like 18 and on.
Yeah. So like boyhood.
Because you
manhood.
have baby, you have newborn, you have baby, you have infant, you have toddler, or is infant and toddler the same? Then
No, infant, then toddler.
Infant, then toddler. Then you have kid.
Child.
And then you have teenager. And
Yeah.
then you have adult, young adult.
Somewhere around there is adolescence.
Oh, yeah. I think that's like middle school.
Yeah. So teenager and adolescence would be the same. And then
Okay.
manhood would be.
After 18?
Yeah, because if you're adult, that could be male or female. But then manhood goes into a, you know what I'm saying? It's like springs off.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they're referencing manhood as a period of time. They're not necessarily, it's just an age. And then masculinity or masculine, they defined as pertaining to or characteristic of a man or men. And then the second definition is having qualities traditionally ascribed to man as strength and boldness. And so that actually kind of helps me to think about manhood versus masculinity. I'm not sure that I fully agree with their breakdown of it, but masculinity more so has to do with the traits that we would consider masculine. And so I was thinking about this and I was like, you know, how are we... One of the things that came from my listening to this podcast is I don't know that I actually had ever fully thought about masculinity versus manhood. I think I did think of them as being synonymous when they actually, in fact, are not. And so then I started to think about this whole idea of masculinity. One of the examples that they brought up in the podcast was how they both, and it's crazy that they both had the same experience, but they both had an experience where their handwriting would be considered, when they were younger, their handwriting would have been considered more feminine because it had more loops or whatever. And so they changed their handwriting because they didn't want to be seen as being feminine. And so I was starting to think about some of the things in our experience as parents with the boys, like in what ways am I telling them that that's not okay because you're a boy type situation. And I've actually felt like I've been pretty intentional about not shooting down some of their things. However, there are things that happen and on my insides, I'm cringing. And eventually I fear that they may be able to see that cringe happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't know that they probably don't realize it's happening. Like, I think there was one time when Raya put on my heels and I was like, oh my gosh, why is he doing that? And I think there was another time that, it was Raya again.
Put on your bra.
He did something crazy, like an article of clothing that was super like, boys don't wear this type thing. And I don't know. I just want my children or my boys to have a healthy perspective and confidence that they walk in that allows them to be fully them while not like feeling like their masculinity is being like, I don't want them to feel like they have to be a certain way because they are male. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you can't keep coming out here.
Okay, well then don't watch it.
You can't watch it then. You guys need to find something else to do.
If you can't figure it out, you can't watch it. Go downstairs and play. No, close the door all the way. Thanks. Close the door all the way.
Now you can figure it out.
Gosh, I keep losing my train of thought. It's always better to do this at night.
Yeah.
What?
So
that was
I'm
such
just
a good
saying,
point. Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm just saying, like, I want them to be able, because from what I was listening to, when I was listening to the podcast, what I was hearing them say is that they didn't necessarily feel like, it was like there was a prescribed way of being male for them that was kind of mapped out to where some of who they were got lost or was not able to be explored because it wasn't masculine.
It was
enough.
considered gay.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, shout out to Propaganda and Jeremiah Givens, both artistic friends of mine. I've been MCing for a long time. If some of you guys don't know, I was a rapper before and still kind of rhyme sometimes, but they're friends and co-laborers in the art with me. I think the interesting thing about what's happening here is that, you know, when God says we are made in his image, we are made in his image, and that doesn't necessarily look masculine or feminine. We have, like, when Adam and Eve were with him, they were naked in the garden. They didn't have certain types of clothes or they didn't wear their hair a certain way. It just grew how it grew, you know? And so society and us, we have been tainted and damaged property by society. And what's like being accepted by the generation right before us. Now, the interesting thing is that what's scary about what my brother said is that you were my standard of a man. And I didn't know what my standard was. So how is he defining me as his standard, and I'm defining
You don't even got a standard.
I don't even got a standard, right?
Lord.
But even still, like,
Yeah.
I, like, you know, I like growing up, like, you know, I would be teased for not being athletic enough. Like, you're not athletic, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what are you then? And I'm like, well, I could draw. No, that don't count. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the standard of, you know.
So did that influence? Because that's kind of one of the points that you did shrink.
I'm going to just start out up here, and eventually I'll get to the right.
For those of you who are listening and can't watch, the chair that Glen sits in, it slowly shrinks.
Okay.
And if you are watching, you can kind of see his head. Okay, let's move on. I'm interested to know, because one of the things that Prop and Jeremiah were saying was that there were some things that they cut out because it wasn't considered masculine. And so did you stop drawing as a result of that not being enough?
No, I it wasn't celebrated though. Like, I think I was just very imaginative. Like, I was a very quiet kid, watch TV, don't want to go outside and play, don't want to jump across the creek, don't want to get dirty. Like, I'm not that kid, you know. I did whatever my mom told me to do.
Yeah.
You're going to do karate. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You're going to play the trumpet or the saxophone. Okay. Yeah. You know.
That's so interesting, because for Theo right now is learning to play the guitar, but I like the flute, but I didn't say, Theo, you should learn how to play the flute. You know what I mean? Like, is the flute
more feminine?
Like,
but you know, it's crazy.
What?
Like, you were talking about like early, like something happening, you cringing. That happens to me all the time. That happens to me all the time, because like, I was just watching one of the older videos, and I'm not gonna say which child it was, but if you know the stories, you can probably guess. Like, I'm sitting there, and one of the kids is just like exploring my nipples, just all into it. This one's cute. This one's cute. And I'm like, God, like, if I could be raptured right now, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's go, God, because I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
And so, but I know that's not his fault. He's not wrong. I'm uncomfortable. I'm the one with the issue. He's just being a kid. And so that's why people talk about, oh, raise your kids gender neutral. Like, they're talking about not having a standard where you're pushing certain societal norms on them that would say, hey, this is something masculine, this is feminine. You can play with these toys, you can't play with these toys. So it gets a little weird when, you know, Anaya gets a doll and then all her clothes are gone. And we're like, yo, where's Anaya's doll's clothes? she was hot. No, she wasn't hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hot in here, so we took off our clothes. So, nah. And so, like, this is where, you know, I think the parental, like, this is where we need to research a lot more, because it happens so fast, and all of a sudden you're in a pool of uncomfortableness. You know what I mean? And so I can understand why a lot of parents avoid the, you know, the sex talk and stuff like that. I think that's kind of like crazy, you know, that you would avoid the sex talk, but just regular talk about like sexual, like, we are sexual beings. You know what I'm saying? Like, even at the age that our kids are, like, they have erections. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's very normal. Mm-hmm. You know, and so, yeah, you know,
it's interesting. So the thing, it's kind of like, how far does it go? So several Christmases ago, before Anaya was even born, we got the kids, or my mom and dad got the kids a play kitchen, right? To like, as a toy. Mm-hmm. And I wanted that because I noticed that they were always interested in cooking and just playing like that. But I never would have been like, let's get them a baby doll. But now that Anaya is here and she has baby dolls, you will see them like caring for the baby and playing with the baby.
Which is fine.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't okay until she, like, we were getting them action figures. Like, they had a ton of action figures before Anaya was here, but never a baby doll.
Yeah, we would just, like, we would walk through Target and swerve past everything pink and superheroes, Nerf guns, balls.
But the thing is, the crazy, and this is another thought that I had when I was listening to the podcast, was that when we're raising women or girls, it's like anything a boy can do, you can do too. But it doesn't go vice versa as far as with the boys. Like, anything you can do, anything that the girls can do, you can do too. Mm-hmm. It's just not socially acceptable. Like, and there have even been points, because you mentioned earlier about like how Adam and Eve, there was no special haircut or no special attire. Mm-hmm. There have even been points when people have referred to Theo as a she, and it annoys me so much that I have thought about cutting his hair. But he loves his hair and I love his hair, and so it's kind of like, why would we cut his hair for someone else? You know what I mean? And so it's just those types of thought processes that I've been having, that I'm like, how can I change this in me? And how can I not let it carry over into my boys, especially my boys? Because I'm not as concerned about Anaya in this aspect as I am with the boys. Because, like, for her to be a tomboy, it's fine. Like, some men aren't attracted to that, but whatever. I don't care. She can be athletic, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
It's very confusing.
And it's really because we realize that we have never been encouraged to think like this. Mm-hmm. This is like very new.
But I'm telling you this, like, I'm going to say this because on the How Married Are You podcast, we like to keep it real with y'all. But like, I tell you this, if Theo or Uriah said they wanted to wear a skirt, I wouldn't be able to. I don't know. That's not something I can, or a dress.
But if they said they wanted to wear it,
you would let them?
If they said they wanted to wear it?
At this age, you would let them? You would not.
See? But now I'm feeling societal pressures on you. Like, from you.
What societal pressure are you feeling? That they can't wear a dress?
I mean, like, all right, let's think about it.
Okay, go ahead.
So, what do you mean by dress?
I mean dress.
All right. So, you talking like mermaid dress, like super tight, hip showing? Are you talking about like a robe?
Huh? Because a robe is a robe, a dress is a dress.
Okay, cool. So, when you go to a black church, mm-hmm. the pastor gets up there sometimes,
and he's wearing a robe.
He's wearing a dress. He's wearing a dress. He's wearing Well, no one knows if his pants on under there.
Yes, we do. We can see his pants.
We
and
can see his
church
pants,
shoes.
but he could just be rocking, kneecaps from the shin down.
Oh, you're so ridiculous.
But we don't know what's under there.
But babe, we
It's
all know
a
that
dress.
that's a robe.
Okay, but what's the difference, really? It's just a big shirt. So if he wanted to wear a big shirt like that, I wouldn't really be opposed to it. I would have to defend him against other people who are in society, but I don't know why that makes us uncomfortable. Now, I'm not trying to put my child, I'm not like, yo, yeah, you need to rock a dress for the gram.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like nothing
No.
like that. But if he's like, yo, I don't want to wear pants, man. I'm tired of wearing pants. It's hot. I feel most
I just
comfortable.
want to air out down there.
Yeah, I feel most comfortable in, because in other cultures, like they wear that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Actually, that's very true.
And it's only in America where we're like, nah, wear a wife beater and some jeans. You know what I'm saying? And some tennis shoes. But if our kids like flip flops, because I would get, and back, like there were certain things you can and can't do in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, your voice can't fluctuate when you talk. You can't like hold your hand like this for like a half a second. You know what I'm saying? You can't, there's certain things you can't do. You can't linger at somebody. You can't daydream. Like you just have to be, sports and girls. Like that's it. Like sports and girls. You get called gay for being smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just for like excelling in school, you're like, man, you gay. You know what I'm saying? And so
I don't know if that's so much now. I mean, I just came from the classroom, and I think that intelligence is definitely becoming more of a.
Back in what year was that? 1998. That's how old I am when I was in 8th grade.
I don't know.
Like I was 13. So
Okay.
in 1998, 13, like you get teased for being smart.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
I think our children should be free to, but I think we should be in communication about that. Because like if I kiss Theo, like on the lips, he's like, ew, like he gets all weird about it.
And it's really irritating because now Anaya's starting to say ew when you give her a kiss on the lips too. But yeah.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that, But I do want them to know that like, and that's why when during the podcast, because I listen to it too, and it's propaganda in Alma's podcast, the Red Couch podcast. But they talked about like instead of being attracted to a certain gender, being attracted to one person. Like I'm not, like I think Prop was like, I'm like, are you attracted to men or women? Like I'm not attracted to all of them. I'm just attracted to one, or this one right now, And so I think, having these discussions just for us is good. That way when it comes up, even if you're like instantly like, you ain't wearing no dress, like in your mind, you could go, but why can't he wear a dress? And Glen wouldn't be upset. So I'm just going to say, you know what I mean? Like that initial reaction is key.
Yeah.
Like having the right reaction, because sometimes when I'm just standing there and Theo like just walk by and just strokes my back, or like sometimes he does something and I'm just like, oh no, like that doesn't make, I don't like being touched like that.
He doesn't, even by me.
I don't like being touched like that real like drapey like fingertips.
It makes him feel feminine.
Oh my, yes. Yes.
Like I can't touch his sides because it makes him feel feminine. Like
it makes me feel like a
underneath
woman.
His arm.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm like, ugh, don't touch me there. I don't like it. And but for him, I'm kind of like, man, I have to allow him to be comfortable like touching me.
And there's a literal physical reaction. Like it happened. Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday? Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, Glen. Like Theo touched Glen just in passing, and Glen's whole
I could not stop it. I tried to control it, but it was like Fear Factor when like they put a spider on your face and you're sitting there like, oh.
He
like
looked
that's
so
how
grossed out. I was like, oh my gosh.
I could not help it, guys.
Get it together.
There's something wrong with me.
Indeed. And I think, and it's,
you didn't have to agree so freaking fast. Okay, there's something wrong with me. Indeed. And I think, no. What's wrong with me? Let's talk about it.
I don't know. And I don't even know what the point of this whole conversation is, because I don't feel like we're necessarily coming to any kind of conclusions. But you did shrink. You want to get back up? But I do feel like, I don't know. I just feel like we need to be careful how we're influencing and informing their masculinity. Because even with Uriah, and I will, like, this morning, for example, Uriah is like, Mom, can I paint? Can I paint? Can I paint? And I'm like, I mean, at this morning wasn't a convenient time for him to paint. So I'm like, we'll paint later. But like the boys were both in parkour, but then when Theo got promoted to the next class up, Rayabo all of a sudden didn't want to do parkour. It was like we got to the parkour and he'd be like, I don't want to do it. It was interesting. And I think it mostly has to
and
do
he's good.
And he's good at it. And I think it has to do a lot with the fact that Theo's not in the same class as him anymore. But me as his mom, like, you need to do parkour. Like this is something that I really want you to do. And even if he's good at it, though, do we make him do it?
Yes.
Huh?
Well, this is like, I don't, like, I think kids will find a reason to not stick to anything. And so right now, what we need to be teaching them is commitment. So Theo was like, I don't want to do the guitar. I don't want to do the guitar. And you were like, am I forcing him to do the guitar? And I was like, yeah. But what if he was like, I don't want to read. I don't want to read.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to learn how to play the guitar. And after that, it's going to be piano. And after that, it's going to be something else. Like, I don't care what you feel like. The flute, the clarinet. You're going to spend $5 on your instrument. Dude, I would hate to have first of all, I would hate to have a flute.
I learned how to play the flute. Well,
I would hate to have a flute in this house all hours of the day. And do you know how fast that turns into a weapon? The boy's like, yeah, I got a flute. Slash. Right across your forehead, Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, for me, I'm like, yo, what was I just talking about?
Forcing commitment.
Yeah, forcing. Like, I think we need to make sure that they understand that when you say you want to do something, because most of that stuff was their idea.
Yeah.
That you're just going to do it and you're going to be great. You're going to do it as best as you can. And then if you suck, you could stop. But if you have potential in it, you can go. You're going to keep going. And so no, we don't let them quit. Like, I wish my mom would have forced me to stay in things that I was interested in. You know what I mean? I don't think we could afford it all, but you know, like karate and like the saxophone and drawing. Like, I used to be really good at drawing.
You're still good.
You know, but I used to be really good, like, as a kid, like a lot more further on. You know what I'm saying? Than I should have been. And I just never stuck to it. And so for me, it's like, nah, you're going to learn everything you can, you know, so that when you might need to make an extra couple of dollars and, learn it, playing the flute or playing guitar on somebody's record or something like that could make you some money, or it could just be a way that you express your creativity. You know, you don't know how many little things like that, those outlets I tuck into of like, oh man, I was once interested in this. And so if I would have started, DJing early or, doing poetry early or something like that, I would have been so far on and developed that I lost a lot of that talent because I don't stick to it, And so I don't think we let them quit anything. That's I don't mind being less of the favorite because of that, because
yeah. I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to talk about, because I feel like a lot of this conversation has had to deal with masculinity, like the traits related to them being a man or a male or whatever. But what about manhood? Like, how are we informing their manhood? Do we think that manhood is more of an age, or is it like a maturity?
I think manhood has more to do with the ability that you have to make grown-up decisions as a man. So sacrifice, hard work, apologizing, humility, doing the right thing even when it doesn't feel right, you know. I think that's manhood, and it comes at a certain age. But I think, you know, when Theo pulled me to the side, was like, yo, you're not spending enough time with your family. Like, that was very manhood. That was a lot of like, oh shoot, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was
it was mature.
It was mature, but it had a very immature, you know, vibe to it. But it was like, oh man, I see this in you. You know what I mean? This is how you can be a leader, a better leader, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So babe, how married are you? No, I was gonna say we can go back to this later, because I was thinking about, like, as a female, what was my picture of manhood or masculinity?
You can talk about that next one.
Yeah. So babe, how married are you?
So I'm so married that I don't know what was going on with you the other night. The other night you were having some abdominal inside pains, and I don't know what was going on, but it was bad. And you necessarily didn't want anything to do with anything or me or anybody, but I found the resources. I tried to be there for you the best way I could. And I promised you that I would never impregnate you again, which I feel like was the issue. And so I'm so, like, because I know that you, like, think about more children and stuff like that, but I promise, this is how married I am, and I promise you that I will never, you'll never have to deal with that again after this. I feel like that is very sweet of me, because I don't think you know what you want. Because even when you were having the pains, you were like, why did I do this? And you were like, you impregnated me. You did it. I was like, I have it on video. You said, babe, tonight we're having sex tonight.
I
You're gonna get me
like
pregnant
that
tonight, babe.
Really, babe?
That's how you sound when you're horny.
Babe, what?
See how that perfect timing? See that?
See that immaturity? Yeah.
Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that I close the cabinets without saying anything. I have this thing about the cabinets just being open, and I feel like every time you get out of the kitchen, every single cabinet is open, and I'm just like, okay. And I don't slam them, I just close them.
Do you want to slam them?
Sometimes I just want you to hear them closing, just to, to be a little bit more mindful, because you literally just leave all the cabinets open. But it's all good. You do you, boo.
Well, you know, if the cabinet's open, you see what's in it, so that way you don't have to open it. But babe, does that make sense though? No, I have a question.
What?
Would you get cabinet doors that are see-through, like that?
I actually would, if we had nice, like,
decor,
if we had nice dishes, like matching dishes that look cute.
Yeah, we got too many different types of cups.
Yeah. And so because I, you know, me and Pinterest, I see those types of kitchens and I'm like, oh, that's so cute and beautiful and whatever. But yeah, and I think it would help us stay a little bit more organized.
Okay.
And that's just how married we are.